All right, guys, it's a bright and sunny day. I'm filming a music video out here, but the number one comment I keep getting is, can you do something for the Marines? I guess I need more Marine representation. Hey, what's up, guys? Music video coming soon. I was a fan of TMR before I knew him.
Dude, that's so cool.
I had no idea. So I was in basic training, marching every single day to I left my home.
Yeah.
And then I call my wife, like, for one of the few phone calls I got. I'm like, hey, babe, everything's going great. You know, whatever. We got 4 weeks left. She's crying, you know, all this stuff. And then
in basic.
Yeah, in basic. And it's toward the end. They're letting us have a little bit longer phone calls. I was on there for like 15 minutes. And so she, as we're sitting there, we kind of run out of things to talk about. We sit there in silence for a second, and I hear her go, and I went, what the frick? How do you know that? And she's like, it's a song on TikTok. I was like, a song on TikTok? We march that every day. Who is it? She's like, a couple rappers. So that's the first time I heard of him, was in basic training. So once I got to AIT and I had my phone back on weekends, I was blaring that song in the gym or whatever.
Yo.
So viral. Everyone's like, at TMR, at Topher, at.
So that kind of brought you guys.
Yeah, and then that's when we met.
I made a comment or something.
Yeah, I think I messaged him. I was like, hey, man, a lot of people are tagging you. And he messaged back. He's like, bet. And so he commented on it. I responded to the comment. We did this back and forth thing and then put out a song.
Oh, and then I said, I can get all the boys together.
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
Or my biggest video on TikTok is also I left my home. It's one I did recently. And it's crazy because I've already posted that thing like 10 times. But
yeah.
New scenery, new things to look at, causes more virality. And that video is about to be 12 million views.
And if you believe in it, you should keep on doing it.
Right.
I don't know if you noticed that I keep on doing that. And every time I do it, it gets more successful. That's why I'll share fallen soldiers again and again and again.
Well, because if there's one that somebody really likes, it's going to be a favorite song regardless. And there's something about I Left My Home that's so catchy and so meaningful, even though it's so simple, that even people who've already heard it 15 times, they're going to watch 60 seconds of it. Because it's just, when you're in basic training, you hear it every other day. You think these people don't get memory flashbacks like crazy when they hear it for the first time in 30 years or whatever, you know. So,
and the wives, the spouses,
Yogi Bear,
they all love it too, because they're like, oh, it reminds me of my husband, or it reminds me of this, or like,
I heard my husband call that cadence one time, or my grandpa taught me.
My grandpa used to do it or whatever, and those are the things. This one guy just DM'd me. He DM'd me and he was telling me the songs that we did got him through his custody battle with his kid. Like that type of stuff, bro. Like I was just like, I started to get emotional and tear up and stuff, and I was just like, man, wow. You know what I mean? Because you go in, you get in the studio, and then sometimes sometimes I have hard days or whatever, and I'm like, why am I doing this? You know, because you always want another level of success, or you don't think that people will see it, or you don't know who's a fan. Sometimes they don't even tell you. Sometimes they just watch your video or whatever, and they could be the biggest fan or whatever. Right. So somebody could be like, dope rap, but when somebody goes, hey, I was really going through a hard time, and I was battling this custody battle to get my son back, and I listened to your song, and it really touched my heart. I'm like, you know what I mean? I was like, whoa.
If you walk down the street and you say, what do you think about Drake? Like 90% of people are going to go, I don't really like Drake. But 10% of a 300 million person nation is a lot of people. You know, so I don't care if 90% of people watching my videos don't like it. As long as you have that loyal fan base, it means a lot. And so I think the most meaningful one I got, and it's what changed my perspective. Because at first I was just doing it for fun. I had this woman email me, I think her husband was still enlisted, and she was retired of the prior service. And she said that both of them had been having a lot of marital problems, and he was very, very suicidal. And like she was ridiculously worried about him. And then one night they were scrolling through TikTok and found my videos, and all of a sudden she noticed him just listening to it 24/7. And it just kind of like, you know, we get so lost in like the day-to-day crap that happens in the military that you forget why you joined in the first place.
So you're saying it cheered up the husband?
It cheered him up, and it reminded him why he joined, and that there's a purpose to what he's doing. And she said, I don't know if you realize this, but you're literally saving lives. And that just, man, that meant a lot to me. Because you know, it's almost like a joke to be passionate about the military, like, oh, you're a boot, you're a pogue, you're a whatever, you know, and we mess with each other about that, but in reality, a lot of people join because they really believe in what they're doing, and it's easy to lose that along the way when you're dealing with it's supposed to be hard. The military's not supposed to be easy, and so when you're dealing with the day-to-day crap, and they keep you 4 hours extra, and you miss a birthday party, and you this and that, and you just got back from deployment, you miss your son's first birthday, and you know, all that stuff makes it so hard to continue to believe in it. but reminding people of that day one when they first heard that cadence, sometimes I think can spark that passion that they had in the beginning.
Yeah, because that's the big thing. That's what I've noticed with a lot of military guys. The reason why they feel, well, military veterans especially, or military people who have been in for a long time, they feel like they need to commit suicide or have these suicide ideations. They have them because they feel like they have a lack of purpose.
Right.
And when you have a lack of purpose, you have a lack of living and breathing and stuff like that. And then when you have that, you want to kill yourself, right? But when you get rejuvenated by something, whether it's music, art, photography, whatever, then you're able to remember what made you great in the first place. Because we were told, Marines specifically, when we graduate boot camp, when we become Marines, we don't have to prove anything else. We've already proved it, and that's our meaning. And we're all, once a Marine, always a Marine. People joke and be like, oh, jarhead or whatever, but it means something. Once you become a Marine, that means you challenge yourself mentally, physically, and emotionally. So you don't need to prove yourself or find any other purpose after that point. Yeah, you can do other things and you can find other missions and purposes, but if we're able to use our music,
been tested.
Yeah, we've been tested, and if we can use our music and use our storytelling and our message to help other veterans and other military individuals or military spouses, and to give them purpose or rejuvenate them or supercharge them, I mean, so be it. Let's get it.
Well, and I think with the younger generation, it gets even harder because there's like this generational competition that happens of, oh, you guys have it easy now in boot camp, or you have this, or whatever. We get into it. We feel like we've been challenged. We feel like if nothing else, you left everything that you know to go pursue something big, right? And then you get done and you're proud of it, and then immediately, as soon as you post it online, everybody's bashing. Oh, you're just a boot. Oh, you're just a pogue. Oh, you're just whatever. Or we get told that, oh, your government's just fighting for oil. Oh, your government's just using you, or whatever. And you deal with all of that, especially if you're online in this day of social media, because nobody has a filter online. And it's really, really easy to feel like there was no purpose to what you did or whatever. For a long time, I was like, man, I haven't done anything unless I deploy. Well, I'm going to go deploy. And then I'm going to go, oh, well, it wasn't a combat deployment. And then I'm going to go on a combat deployment, and I'm going to go, well, I wasn't directly in the firefight. I didn't give as much as those guys. And that competition never ends, and the competition's also stupid. Because the guys who've been in combat that I've talked to will say, no, you don't want to go to combat. No.
I'm telling you,
I'm glad you serve. I'm glad both of us got to serve, and we both served the same mission in different ways. But you just do what you're called to do, and if the Army tells you to do X and you do X, then you've served. You know what I mean?
No, but but see, the thing is, like me, like I could tell you the same thing. I thought even though I deployed, I still didn't do enough because there was always some recon, some airborne person who was better than me. So I still felt like nothing as well. So it's like you're never going to be good enough if you do not find pride in your position as it is and just relish in all the greatness that you created right there. So it doesn't matter if if you're a cook, if you're a postman, if you're a photographer, if you're the mail lady, whatever it is, if you have joy and purpose in your job, you're special. Because I have a lot of people, and I don't know if you have these people come to you, I'm pretty sure you do. People will come to me and they're like, hey, I didn't serve, but, or I'm just a civilian, or I'm just a whatever, but I really felt your song. I was like, no, you're not just a construction worker. You're a construction worker. Like,
we need you guys.
We need you guys. I didn't do that. You did it. You know what I mean? I did the military because that was my mission. That was my calling. You were a construction worker. Now I have some place to live. Right. I wouldn't have had no place to live if it wasn't for you. So I appreciate you. You can be a military person, or you can be a civilian. You don't have to be military. Everybody's not supposed to be military. Everybody's not supposed to be civilian. And I don't know. Have you had people like say that?
Oh yeah.
Like, I'm just a civilian.
Well, yeah. So I get that a lot, and especially like military spouses, because people pick on dependents a lot too. So they'll be like, I didn't serve. Yeah, I know I didn't do anything, but my husband or but my dad. And I'm like, no, man. Like I can't do what I do if I don't have that rock back at my home. Like I have to be able to trust the person there waiting on me. One of the things that bothered me the other year is I had some buddies deploying, and I didn't get to go on the deployment.
Yeah.
I was sitting at home making TikTok videos, and there's like a side of that that's like, man, am I doing anything important? I'm literally making TikToks right now, and who knows what these guys are going through or whatever. But once I got the opportunity to talk to those guys, they're texting me and they're like, no, dude, like what you're doing is important, and it's so cool that you get to touch people like that. And one of my NCOs, who honestly was the most brutal on what I'm doing, just dogging me for being on TikTok, making fun of me all the time, whatever. I know it's all in love. He at one point was like, no, dude, in all seriousness, like keep doing what you're doing. Because like sometimes some of these people, their grandpa passed away in World War II, or their husband has PTSD, or their whatever. All these people in different situations, or service members themselves, sometimes things like that are all they have to hold on to, or especially those Gold Star families, when they hear your songs that their grandpa taught them, that's what they have to hold on to. That's what they listen to when they're feeling nostalgic when they think about their grandpa. When Father's Day comes around, that's certain kids are listening to that because it makes them think about their dad. And the same guy who was making fun of me yesterday for doing, all in love, and you gotta take it in stride, and it's y'all's leatherneck thing.
You have to have tough skin.
You've got
tough
to.
skin.
At the end of the day, everybody's made in the image of God. Everybody's got a purpose to what they're doing. Go
Exactly.
do it. And I'm not saying the military is the church, but you read about the body of Christ, and every member has a purpose. And without this member is suffering.
Exactly.
I blew out an ACL one time, and all of a sudden my other knee was hurting because I was compensating on that leg. Or you injure an ankle, all of a sudden that pain moves up to your hips or whatever. When one part of the body is suffering, everybody suffers with it. So pick each other up and let's go.
Bro, but I gotta say though, like, especially these days, a lot of people don't want to talk about God, so we're gonna talk about it. You know what I mean? But like, the thing is, it's like everybody's like, oh, religious this or religious that, or I don't want to talk about God. When you get shot at overseas, that's what people are doing. God, please help me, please, God.
I know yesterday I was making fun of Ray for it, but
and then now you get religious once the bullets start flying. So I can attest to that. People get religious overseas.
Sometimes you just need to live your life serious.
Exactly. So I mean, there's no shame in it. I don't think people should shame people for believing in God and being believers and stuff like that.
Oh, I get the
people
comment.
always do that. People
I
always
get the
do that.
comment all the time.
They want to shame you
in
for it, right?
military don't make your religion out of it. Like, chaplains exist. Exactly. So I guess they mix. But if you have something you believe in, like, I'd love for it to be Christianity for everybody. But if it's not, if you have something to hold on to believe in, whether that's military or whatever, it's something to push you. And we should encourage that. If you believe in it, go pursue it and do it to the best of your ability. Christianity teaches whatsoever you do it in the name of the Lord. So when I'm doing that crappy drill day where I'm sitting around doing nothing, or I'm out PMCSing in 110-degree weather, or whatever I'm doing, man, I'm doing it for God. Like, this is what I'm called to do. If it seems lame to me, it's what I'm called to do. Somebody has to do this job. And I grew up spoiled in a blessed nation where I got everything I ever asked for, and this is my way of